Hey everyone, welcome to Ramble with Nix. So, with Cyril's bold commitments when he's in front of the cameras, clashes with the reality that we're all sitting with the reality being brought to light with the Commission. Since before even 2025, historical SANDF addresses, going back as far as 2021, focuses on community policing and anti-corruption and, but marginal results, marginal. It is the glacier of accountability, centimeters per year, something that now is definitely being cemented as an absolute fact, is that the ANC are linked to criminal figures. It is pure political elite capture. I mean, only 7 days ago, Afriforum called on the Minister of Defence and the head of South Africa's National Defence Force to provide full transparency on the extent of the thefts at the Brug and other military bases, as well as the measures being taken to prevent further incidents. This follows 2 break-ins at the De Brug military base outside Bloemfontein in the Free State in the past 2 weeks.
Now we are intensifying Operation Shanela. Shanela has been successful in arresting suspects, recovering firearms, and seizing stolen vehicles.
In at least one of these cases, devices, mortar components, and ammunition were stolen. This is over and above the theft that happened in Simonstown military base. And I do believe there was something that happened in Hartbeespoort. Afriforum has repeatedly raised the alarm about theft and corruption at SANDF bases across the country, where firearms, ammunition, and military equipment have disappeared without proper investigation or accountability. As recent as 2023, a SANDF member was also arrested in Bloemfontein for stealing weapons, ammunition, and even a hand with the intention of reselling it. The state's inability to protect its own stockpile of weapons and ammunition places ordinary South Africans at risk. We are now seeing the direct consequences of a system that has been allowed to deteriorate over time, despite repeated warnings from civil society. And the really funny thing about this incident is that civilians and private security, not military personnel, intercepted the suspects and recovered the dangerous items. Private citizens and security companies. I mean, if that's not a Viva ANC moment, I can't do better than that for you.
I have asked the Minister and the National Commissioner of Police to prioritize reducing gun-related crime and violence. The detective service, which is crucial to solving cases, will expand by 4,000 personnel.
Currently, violent crimes, epidemic level, firearms fueling 70% of murders. The detective services, they were promised 4,000 extra personnel. As always, these things lag. So, mid-2025, there were 1,200 recruits. Total murders, year-on-year change, increased by 2.1%. 6,225 murders. And on the side notes, it says, despite priority reduction promises, illegal firearms recovered dropped 15% year on year. Attempted murders, fantastic. That went down by 1.4%, but still 5,892. Marginal decline, robbery with aggravated circumstances, up by 0.5% at 35.4 thousand, mostly through organized syndicates, which now we're finding out many of our politicians are associated with. My last 2 videos for this week were a little depro, but focused on offences, up by 3.2%, with 11,500 reported by Q3 2025. Common assault up by 4.1%, 156.7 thousand. And shame, that's actually where townships reporting rates are less than 20%. And if I had to put something down to that, is that I don't think they trust the police. And they definitely don't trust that anything's going to get done. I'm so tired of hearing about reforms and corruption. The recovery, 10 billion in state capture assets has been recovered, but it was over 500 billion which was stolen. Only 12% of recommendations has been fully implemented. The SIU boasts, and I know Cyril boasts this every time he talks about Zondo, 10.5 billion recovered by Q3 25, but against estimated losses of corruption annually, 100 billion. So while you're busy recovering 10 billion, we're losing 100 billion a year from continued corruption. At this rate, nobody, and no matter how many commissions Cyril puts together, are we ever going to catch up with 100 billion being stolen every year. So when we look at corruption, cases reported up 12%, high-level prosecutions down 18%. Regardless of what Cyril stands up and pledges, gun recovery targets missed by 20% since 2023. No historical precedent exists for decisive action. Zondo's 400 plus recommendations have seen less than 15% implementation. This is where we're sitting when it comes to the ANC crime and corruption. And this flippy-floppy approach from them is really starting to annoy me. In front of the camera, reforms, equality, investment. And listen to what he says in all of his speeches. We must.
And we must continue.
How about for 2026, we try a new approach? I'm glad to report that we have. I'm glad to report success on. We must. How about you start getting going on that? 31 years in power. Cyril, yourself have been in power for over 5 years. We must needs to change to we have. So SANDF 2025, Cyril talks about wanting a nation in which everyone is safe. His other favorite one, we want a nation that is free of corruption.
We also want a nation in which everyone is safe. We want a nation that deals with corruption. We want a nation that is at peace with the world.
So Cyril can continue to stand up in front of the screen, the media, and talk about wanting a nation where everyone is safe. We want a nation that is free of corruption. But until the very roots of this corrupt, rotting tree is extracted from the fertile land that is South Africa, we will hear about this all again in SANDF 2026. That is my rainbow today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it insightful. Very interesting to see the two-faced hypocrisy that is the ANC. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do press that button. It costs you nothing, but really helps my channel. Also, drop a like and a comment if you think somebody else needs to know this. Do me a favor and hit that share button. I really appreciate all the support. Shout out to Nikki Gibbs. Your support has been amazing. I am just over the moon chuffed. Thank you so much. Guys, have a good day. Weekends around the corner. Over and out.